As it's been said in times long past, Chan Chan, I Chiki Chiki Ban Ban, I Chiki Chiki Chan Chan, Chiki Chiki Ban Ban. This is the OSMcast. Hello, folks, and welcome back, or welcome to the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome. I'm Basil.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Douglas.
And that's us, but we are also joined by special guest, Tobias. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Oh, hi. I'm Tobias. That's me.
Yes, recently I got to guest with Tobias on the Third Impact anime about Glass Mask, about a show that at one point in its life, it was on High Dive. I don't believe it is on High Dive anymore. But
nope, you killed it. It's your fault. You did that.
Yes, it was my fault. No, not Austin's, who is supposed to be on the podcast. He's like, no, I've got to work on panels. I should go do the panels. Yeah, so I'm not going to record the episode. Well, there was a con. There was panels for him to do. It was the Queen City Anime Convention, and Tobias went to that. How'd that go?
It went pretty great. Queen City Anime Con is in the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's been going on for about 5 years now. They took a break during COVID. Now that we're kind of at a point now where people are starting to open back up and do it with, safety restrictions, they kind of had that there. They had one of the few cons to do both the vax or negative PCR test mandate alongside masking throughout the entire con. And it held up. They were checking those requirements when people got their badges. And there were people checking masks at every entrance. And I saw several people stopped for not having mask or mask on. So it went really well. None of the people I was with got COVID. I did not hear about any positive cases or anything. So when you add that to stuff like Otakon 2 weeks ago, that also had similar strict mandates and no super spreading events, it's almost like these policies work, and do stuff.
Yeah, man, if only people understood that masks work. Well, I'm pretty positive that everyone who listens to this podcast probably does understand that. Pretty sure.
It is. I mean, as far as the con, it's still a small-ish event. They've certainly grown since the beginning. It feels like it's kind of leveled off a bit, and I'm not sure if that's just because the scene is there in Charlotte, or if COVID has sort of stymied that growth a bit. We'll have to see. But it did feel like a full convention. They had the panels, they had the dealer's room. They had a full-size game room with Snow Phoenix, I believe, is the arcade group that kind of makes it around the area with their... they had a bunch of, rhythm game machines, like Sound Voltex. They had a full Gundam Breakers set with the 4 machines. If you guys have seen the 2-on-2 Gundam game, that makes it around. They had Super Table Flip, my favorite arcade game of all time. So it was surprisingly stacked for what was a small event overall. But yeah, even then I think I spent a lot of the time still up in the hotel room just because safety was still a concern.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. This is the first con I've gone back to since AWA in 2019. Yeah. That's been the first con I've been since then. So regardless of how their policies were, I was still a little cautious to go. And happy to report that every test I've taken since has come back negative. Again, nobody I know has got it. So yeah, it was a successful event from start to finish, I'd say.
Well, good. Glad to hear it. And all your panels went well?
Yeah, so we had quite a lot. Our Third Impact group, Austin had the lion's share of content. They got him to moderate all the voice actor guest Q&A panels. So he spent all Saturday pretty much just running back and forth from room to room, moderating those questions. We did, let's see. So personally, I did one on Star Wars Visions, the anthology that came out last year. I did one on animated creators you should know. It's kind of a revamp for one that I've done in the past. I just talk about people that aren't Hayao Miyazaki and why you should know who they are to talk about stuff in the anime canon. Nothing too advanced, just kind of basic.
Wait, what? There are other directors?
Okay. I know, you'd be surprised, but
Hayao Miyazaki. Wow.
I was shocked to find that out too.
I have a very important question.
Yes.
And I want you to answer it.
Okay.
If you could have one of these three men to be your animation daddy, which one would you choose? The three choices. The
three choices for my personal anime father? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The three choices I'm about to give you for your personal anime father. Hayao Miyazaki.
I think, if memory serves, the three you had was Hayao Miyazaki, Makoto Shinkai, and Hideaki Anno?
Yes, that was it.
That's an easy choice.
Better than me.
Easy choice. So, right off the bat, Miyazaki is a terrible father. He's a great artist, but an awful, terrible father. So, definitely not him. Makoto Shinkai is about my age, I think, a little bit older, so probably not great for being a dad either. But Hideaki Anno is like my spirit animal, as the kids say. So yeah, I would have to go with Anno-san.
So that's the correct answer.
Yes.
Like, you don't realize it's a correct answer game, but it is a correct answer game.
Exactly.
My answer would be none of the above. Yoshiyuki Tomino is obviously my anime daddy.
Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that, Kevin.
I mean,
he's our
I'm
grandpa.
not saying that's necessarily a good thing. That's just the truth.
No, Tomino fathered Anno. Anno fathered us. Like, let's be honest here.
I am sometimes just reminded how much shockingly large amount of the exact same things Hideaki Anno and I like.
Oh, yeah. Tomino he's that weird uncle that when you were a kid you thought was really cool because he showed you like stuff you shouldn't be watching. But when you realize now, like as you grow up, man, there's some really messed up stuff that your uncle is into. You don't really want to think about too hard.
I'm going to be that uncle for my nieces and nephews. Right now, they think I'm really cool. But later on, they're going to be like, oh man, Uncle Doug is still into Pokemon. That's Pokemon and Minecraft. That's kind of weird, actually. What happened
That's kind of sus and cringe, am I right, fellow kids?
Yeah.
Speaking of things the fellow kids could do, it's time for OSMplugs. They should totally check out our Discord, our Patreon, or if you need some good, sweet merch that Tobias happened to be rocking at the con, our TeePublic shop for some cool OSMcast shirts.
I will say that the shirt I had was very comfy.
Yep. In fact, I think I bugged Austin from Third Impact, like, hey, I know you have shirts on TeePublic, but I don't see anywhere to buy them. So he finally put a link on y'all's website. So good for Austin. But this is not about that website. It's about our website, awesomecast.com, where you can find links to the Discord and the TeePublic, but also our Patreon, where we're also now doing a thing for $5 and up members. Every other week, we are putting up an awesome bonus episode, about 30 minutes to an hour of us chitter-chattering about whatever we decide to chitter-chat about. But also things that we like to chitter and chatter about are things like moments of awesome.
Hang on, I need to chitter-chatter some more.
Moment of awesome.
It was Kunihiko Ikara who I wanted to swap out and add in there. So the question is, would he be a better daddy or
who was the new choice?
Ikuhara.
Kunihiko Ikuhara.
Ikuhara.
New choice to throw in there.
Can I have Anno and Ikuhara be my two gay anime daddies?
Yeah, Ikuhara versus Anno. Which one is your anime daddy?
So Anno is still my anime daddy, but Ikuhara is the guy that you work with. It's like 5-10 years older than you that you go drinking with, and you find out a whole another world exists. He becomes your new mentor.
The guy I was. Oh man. Like Savan, if he's listening to this, that's like we used to joke that, I was the Peter Parker to his Miles Morales, but no, I'm pretty sure I remember the days when, like, I mentioned something about Initial D, and a week later it's like, Basil, I've watched Initial D. Holy crap.
Okay, that was enough of my nonsense.
Okay, well then, Tobias, what's your moment of awesome?
My moment of awesome this podcast is a movie called On-Gaku, translated as Our Sound, or just the word itself is just the word for music in Japanese. So this is a movie. It came out in 2019, I want to say. Anime movie. Yeah, the 2019 movie directed by Kinji Iwasai, based on a 2005 manga. It's called On-Gaku to Manga, music and comics. And this is a movie that I heard about for a bit. It was kind of on that Fathom Events circuit, I think right when the pandemic started, so it didn't actually get a play here, or a very limited play, if that. I certainly wasn't going to movie theaters when it was coming out or going to come out. It's a story about a trio of high school delinquents in Japan that decide randomly one day that they want to form a band, and they do so. These trio, they share like 2 brain cells among them. They are not very bright, and that reflects well in the music they play. So they end up stealing a drum set, not even a full drum set, just like 2 drums, 2 toms, and a couple bass guitars. They don't even get an actual guitar. They just they steal a pair of bass guitars, and they go in the guy's room and they just pound out some music. And like, if you've ever, I don't know what musical talent you guys have, but whenever you start off, or when you're a kid or something, and somebody hands you a drum set or hands you a guitar and you just start wailing on it, just because that's what it sounds like. They just start wailing on these instruments without care in the world. And it's really goofy, but I think the reason it's my moment of awesome specifically is that it is steeped in nostalgia. So the animation itself, it's rotoscoped, but it's given a really rough, simplistic art style that reminded me instantly of those mid-2000s Adult Swim shows that are just really simple, really stoner comedy kind of shows.
Or absurdist.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say, what was it, like a 5-ounce mouse or something like that?
Yeah.
It kind of brought me back to that era, that 2005, 2006 era. And the setting is kind of like this, like a little coastal Japanese town, and something about the simplicity of these really stupid characters and their plot mixed with the setting gave me big Katamari Damacy vibes.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not the same sort of surreal concept, but something about the simple designs combined with, like I said, the Adult Swim stuff. Like, it shot me back to 2005, 2006 in the tone of the piece, and it just, something about that resonated with me. I think part of it was really, the movie is about these high school kids that are on the cusp of adulthood. They haven't really figured out their lives, and they feel empty because of it. They don't really have a goal in life, and forming the band was kind of their way of finding a purpose. And again, that's something that for me, 2005, 2006, coming out of high school, starting to college, that sort of deal, not really having a purpose in life and sort of coming to terms with that, it just resonated and filled me with nostalgia. So again, it's not a really complicated movie. I wouldn't say it was like life-changing or anything, but something about it just resonated with me in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Nice. I really, really want to watch. I really need to order the Blu-ray for On-Gaku. I keep meaning to. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I put it off for a bit because one of those things that didn't really make me feel like I had to watch it in the same way some of the newer movies do, but I would definitely recommend it for sure.
I also keep getting it mixed up with, I think, Inu O.
Yeah.
The new Masaki Owasa film. For some reason, I keep getting this On-Gaku and Inu O like mixed up, because it's sort of a similar, for some reason, there's the way that they're written, just my brain just wants to mix up the two.
Yeah.
They're very short words, and they both have a hyphen in the middle. So I can see why that could be confusing for sure.
They're both about music.
Yeah, that's true. Weird art styles, very surreal.
Yeah.
But that said, Kevin, speaking of high school kids on the cusp of adulthood, your moment of awesome.
My moment of awesome is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And there ain't any of those kids that are even 10 years old, Basil.
Well, that's... that's...
Okay, that's not entirely true, but that's not... It's a strange setting. It's a strange setting. It is the third game in the Xenoblade Chronicles series. And you are put into a world that, for some reason, seems to run on competitive shooter game rules, where two countries fight each other with little groups of fighters who try to rack up their kill counts. But in this world, like, everyone is basically born at effectively 10 years old out of a test tube, and then has a 10-year lifespan to rack up glory and honor for their respective queens. And if they live 10 years, they then get to go back to the capital and have a glorious death in front of their queen as they're, like, turned into sparklies. And I don't know, it's good. That's what they tell us anyways.
I didn't know any of that about it. That's interesting.
Like, I feel like...
Yeah, the game's wild.
The game is wild. And it's a setting that is the majority, especially for a good chunk of the game, the majority of the cast are so far removed from what you would consider a normal life and any sort of normal touchstones. Like, it's meant to be informative that super early in the game there is a Paul Verhoeven-esque Starship Troopers co-ed bathing scene in the game, and where men and women are bathing together and no one's reacting to anyone being naked. You know, that's...
Right.
It's as far from anime as you can get, at least at the beginning. But anyway...
At least as far as that goes. Other parts are very, very anime, but only in the best ways.
But, you know, stuff goes on, and two different teams of soldiers from these two warring nations meet and battle and get caught up in a weird event that leads them to being both branded traitors by their respective countries and being hunted and forced to cooperate together as they follow their one vague clue to try to unravel the real truths of the world. As you just get this huge-ass world to explore with an up to 7-person party, which is just absolutely insane. Like, I've complained about it a lot, that I'm sick and tired of 3-people parties, and I want, like, a good old-fashioned 4 to 6-person party. And this game gave me 7.
And you don't realize it at first, because at first you start off with your 6 folks. And I'm like,
well, first
okay,
you start off with, like, basically, I think, 4 to 3, and a lot of the very earliest parts, 3 to 4, depending on what's going on. But then it expands. The game does this several times. You think you've got a handle on the mechanics, then it expands. But in a nice way.
This game is monolith soft, just monolithing the soft out of things. It is so good.
I have to say, though, I feel like a lot of the previous Xenoblade games just kind of will throw new mechanics at you, and what tutorials they give you are often vague or misleading, even. This one actually does a pretty good job of not giving you, like, it has a help menu you can reference. It has tutorial battles if you want to access those to try to get a handle on it in a, like, real time. Like, you can just go into your menu and, like, show me the tutorial on doing this aspect of the gameplay. It starts off so simple, and it's like, okay, yeah, this feels like the other games in the series, kinda. Streamlined, runs a little more smoothly, and then it just kinda keeps expanding. But it always feels like it makes sense. There are a couple of little mechanical surprises, but it mostly makes sense.
Yeah, I found it a lot of fun. Definitely, for me, the whole getting to love Xenoblade journey is not dissimilar to Tobias. That sort of what you had with Final Fantasy XIV, and this becoming, you know, finally a true sicko with the rest of us, where I many times tried to hop on a Xenoblade on the first one. There are multiple iterations of it. But it was actually Xenoblade Chronicles 2 where I finally got stuck with it. And then I played the Switch Definitive Edition of the first one. And that's when I finally really got Xenoblade. And for this third one is really very much my Shadowbringers Endwalker combo of a game where it really has now hit all the moments that Monolith Soft really wants to hit for a game where it's got this really interesting world that just takes these wild narrative swings that you do not see coming. And sometimes you do, but it still hits you in a way that you weren't planning on getting hit.
Yeah.
It's
very likable cast of characters. They feel very alive. They will comment on things in the environment, even like run over and like point at, look, I think you can go up this way, stuff like that.
Or, hey, I see a thing we get. Wait, I can't get that. Why did they even put that there?
Yeah.
Also, because you have to find another way to get there.
My secret favorite thing is when you actually unlock like class changing, especially beginning when you just basically have access to like their counterpart on the other team's costume. Most of the classes basically consist of putting on a different jacket. So it really just looks like the party is sharing all their clothes. Like, they're just stealing each other's jackets on different, like, to round out their wardrobes.
That's fuel for the fanfic fire.
Oh, yeah. It's not three romantic pairs. They're just a big queer polycule. That's my reading.
As all RPG parties should be. Yeah, no, I've been meaning to jump onto the Xenoblade Chronicles, train for a while. Never really got around to it, but I think maybe that'll be my next big thing is stepping onto the Switch version of the first game. I think that's because that's where the character from Smash comes from, right? The dude with the Monado.
I mean, also
I'm blanking on his name.
Pyra / Mithra is also a Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but which is weird. The protagonist didn't get in, like the love interest / weapon got in as a character in Smash.
Yeah, I do think that I did something bad for myself, and that the only experience I've had with this third game is that I jumped onto a random Twitch stream, and there was so much stuff happening on the screen. I kind of checked out. Like there was all 7 people fighting, and they were going into some sort of timed ultimate move where they did damage that added to a meter. That it was like I got it conceptually, but I checked out when I saw that. I feel
well, standing in circles is good. They don't give you that many circles to start with, and
standing in circles is good.
Standing in circles is good.
Yes. Yeah, I Tobias, I know.
But I played 14 for 2 years now, and I'm supposed to not stand in circles.
I honestly, I don't stand in that many circles, like mostly because I'm playing melee DPS, and they have positionals, and usually all the circles are in front of the enemy, and my positionals are to the side and behind it.
Look, you hop to your positional, and then you hop back in the circle. That's what the R3's for. The R3 is the dash. That lets you hop into your positionals. Then you can hop back in the circle.
And I've heard good things about it. People that have liked it have really enjoyed it. I've heard the music is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They literally handcrafted 2 flutes that exist within the game, but they handcrafted them in real life to use them in the soundtrack. Also, the game credits, I think, more musicians and singers than I've ever seen in a video game credits.
Nice.
Just because they had a lot of musicians on there, and I think they credited all of them, which is nice if you know any musicians, and they often complain about not getting credited.
But, speaking of child soldiers, I have been reading Saint Seiya, which I didn't realize would make such a good transition point from Xenoblade to Saint Seiya, but no, it's true, because Saint Seiya is about young boys who are raised in terrible situations in order to be able to granted ancient Greek armor so they could have fights to the death with each other.
Yeah.
So Saint Seiya is one of those things that I never really got into, but I know a lot of other folks who've gotten into it, and it's especially popular in like Europe and South America, and of course all the places that get cool cartoons that we never got in America. And Saint Seiya was one of them. Recently, Viz put out Saint Seiya, the original manga, into the vault, as it were, so that you could read it on the Crunchyroll app. Shonen Jump app.
I mean, it's going to be Crunchyroll eventually, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
just give it 5 years.
Yeah, and Sony gets hungry for something else to consume.
I have to say, I've seen some of the anime adaptations, but I've never seen the manga of Saint Seiya at all.
Well, it was there, and I'm like, I could read this. I've always been interested in Saint Seiya. This seems like a good onboarding point, and I enjoyed it so far. But yeah, it's about these kids who are raised from essentially birth to they're trained for so many years by their various mentors, and each of these, what they refer to as cloths, are different armors that are, all attached to different constellations, and they're empowered by mystical energy that they call their Cosmo, and it's really the fight against
the Cosmo.
Yes, it's like your cat. What if they were embodying the mystical energy of your cat and had
it's
fights
Greek for the
to
universe the or order, if you prefer, but
no, I think I prefer my cat.
But they're powered by energy. Your cat, all of them. Yeah. It's the strangest warlock pack in fictional history.
Fictional, I live though. That's my everyday, man.
As long as you keep offering that tribute. By tribute, I mean food and treats. But yeah, so there are these guys and they're fighting and to the death, and it turns out they weren't supposed to be fighting to the death. So the main boss over in Greece sends other folks in cloths to go kill all the first Zodiac folks, because they're having death duels that they're not supposed to have. They're not officially sanctioned by Greece death duels. So now they have all new death duels that are sanctioned by the head honcho, the master. And then things keep escalating from there. And just when you think someone's dead, they're not. Oh, wait, no, they died again. Wait, no, you see them go to the underworld and come back. Wait, now this person's here. Wait,
I feel
what?
like Seiya did the, this is this character's identical twin at least once in the series somewhere.
Oh, it's done it like a couple of times, I think, so far, and I'm not even halfway done with it. It definitely channels very, very strong, like, soap opera energy.
Yeah.
For shonen fighting pretty boys in armor. Like, it's been very, very good.
Like, and pro wrestling was kind of an inspiration for the kind of gimmick wise of like how there's a whole bunch of characters with sort of unique looks and a gimmick. It's
I could see that, and plenty of characters will turn heel, then return, and then other characters will turn heel, and then sometimes characters that were heels originally, they stop being heels, then they'll become heels again for different reasons. It is, I am enjoying it very much, and it is a wild ride just from the get-go.
That sounds very much like this crazy manga that I keep trying to get you to read.
I know, I need to read it. I just haven't had time because Xenoblade Chronicles 3 occupies every moment of my being that isn't doing this. Or
just have random bouts of insomnia like I do, and then you can read all the manga you want.
Which is weird, because I do have random bouts of insomnia, yet somehow I'm not getting anything done.
So I guess I should ask, is this manga your moment of awesome?
No.
Oh, then what is your moment of awesome?
I will save that for a rant for another time. My moment of awesome is going to be Pokemon Arceus. It's the first time I've ever played a not main series Pokemon game, and I'm loving it. It's so good.
Which one is... Oh, that's the, like, feudal Japan-esque one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been thrown back in time, so I get to wear kimonos all the time, which I love. It is my design aesthetic, 100%. Let's see. You've actually been flung back to a time before the Pokédex existed, so you're actually having to, like, you can't just catch one in order to complete your Pokédex. You have to accrue, like, a large amount of things, and see them, like, do special things out in the wild, and oh man, it's so good. I made a comment in our Discord that it's really simulating that grad student experience where you do all this work only to know that the professors who will get to write the paper in the end.
Yeah, I like the fact that you actually have to do different things to fill your Pokedex up.
Yes.
You don't just catch. You have to, like, use specific moves or type advantages against certain things to actually do it. So yeah, it does feel like you're actually researching these critters.
Yeah. And, like, getting them to evolve is usually a thing, especially on the things that have, like, weird evolutions. Like, you can kind of go into the Pokédex and go, okay, I need to see it evolve how many times? Oh, this can't be the normal way. This must be some weird way. I'm at the stage of the game where I'm trying to complete the Pokédex. And it's a lot harder because I have to do all this stuff. I have to do actual research. This is normally the time when I would be breeding Pokemon, and I'm not breeding them. So, like, as far as I know, there's no method to breed, there's no method to trade those Pokemon. I was talking to Basil about, I really hope there's going to be a way to carry some of the Pokemon that I've gained in this game back into home, because as of right now, there is not a transfer mechanic. But I hope they put an update that includes that, especially as the newer Pokemons come out. But
later this year, I think.
It also feels like it's a little bit of, so Pokemon has been going on for a long time now, and so there are some legendaries that you have probably missed. Here's a chance to get them, and I'm really having fun with it.
How do you feel about the battle changes and the speed of battle?
Oh, okay. So one of the best things about it is that you actually, like, you as a player, like, actually exist, like, in the little world. And I really enjoy directly throwing my Pokeball at the Pokemon, or choosing to throw a Pokemon at the Pokemon, thus instigating a battle. I like how the wild Pokemon can actually damage you, the player person. Well, not you, the player person, but you, the player character.
Do you have hit points?
Well, you don't have hit points. The screen starts to fade and go black around the edges, and then, like, when you're just really serious, it'll get, like, red around the edges. And if you get hit at that point, like, it game overs you. But I really enjoy that aspect of it. It makes it feel very immersive. I feel like they've gone back to their original concept of Pokemon and, like, upgraded it. But the actual combat of when the Pokemon are fighting, I feel like the wild Pokemon are all stronger than my Pokemon, which doesn't make any sense. And it's not how Pokemon was originally set up. Part of that is, I know, because they ditched the IVs. They ditched IVs, and they now show you the EVs. So you can control your EVs, and there's not a cap on EVs, so you can train your Pokemon to max in all stats with the effort value, but with the individual values, those are all gone. So since I have to collect, like, 30 of a Pokemon, I have to collect 25 of this Pokemon, it makes picking which one I'm going to keep of those Pokemon a lot easier. But because it feels like the wild Pokemon are stronger than the captured Pokemon, a lot of times in actual combat, regardless of what level I am compared to what level the enemy Pokemon is, it tends to be like a one and done kind of fight. Like, either I immediately kill the other Pokemon, or the other Pokemon immediately kills me, with not much room for variation. It kind of makes it faster, but I feel like it kind of unbalances it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. In the older versions of the game, you would go through trash, Pidgeys and Zubats like nothing. You'd cut through them like nothing. But in this one, the random battles can actually be fatal if you're not paying attention. They're not something you can just turn your brain off. And on the one hand, I like that. I appreciate the fact that combat feels like combat. On the other hand, it can be hard to grind when you feel like you need to grind because of that same in this game, to me, grinding was potions. I had to continue to get potion materials just to make sure my people stayed alive, just because of the battles were so fatal.
Yeah, that's true. Like when your Pokemon, like even when you go into a battle where you are levels and levels and levels higher than the trash you're grinding against, you're in a favorable type matchup. The enemy Pokemon can still hit you for enough damage that when you get out of battle, you know that if you run into like a Pokemon that's going to give you trouble, it could like completely destroy your good Pokemon. So you have to use potions.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of crafting, and I'm not sure I like the crafting aspect of it, because that is really grindy. I go through a lot of Pokeballs. And so I have to get a lot of materials to make Pokeballs. So I spend a lot of time in the Obsidian Fieldlands, because that's where you get the... Like, it doesn't seem like you can get as many nuts anywhere else.
Well, speaking of nuts...
But I really like this Pokemon game. It's really good. And, like... I'm always confused by how much I like Pokemon and how much I get into it, because I don't consider Pokemon to be, like, part of my personality, but it's definitely there.
I really hope that a lot of these changes, they will continue to carry on. I have really strong liberal opinions about Pokemon mechanics, and they're finally changing the formula in ways that I like, and I really hope they continue to do that, because Pokemon needs a shakeup, in my opinion.
Well,
I guess we'll have to...
what I hope later is that they put in a mechanic, essentially like they did in Pokemon Go, where you put the Pokemon into the special thing, and you can like recatch your Pokemon, so that they can prescribe the right stats that lets it be integrated with all the previous ones. Because I feel like they've really like slimmed the number of stats that a Pokemon has down, which is what I think lets them be able to do the open world stuff. Because even before that, there's just so much going on with Pokemon stats that there's no way they could just render a fully formed Pokemon out on the field and have it not take up just huge amounts of computing power for no reason.
Well, I hope that they find a good mentor figure, perhaps a tactical advisor that can really help them make the connections they need to in order to change Pokemon things like Scarlet and Violet for the better. Perhaps, someone who came from the olden times of China, who somehow dies and gets reincarnated at a younger age, but still an adult, into modern day Shibuya. And that's the anime we're talking about with EDM music. It's called Ya Boy Kongming, and we're going to actually talk about it right after this quick break. This is the OSMcast. And we're back. We're going to talk about Ya Boy Kongming, based off the manga written by Yuto Yatsuba and illustrated by Ryo Ogawa. It's published by Kodansha in the US, and the anime adaptation was done by Studio PA Works. And boy, does it, for me, feel like a very PA Works studio production.
Yeah.
Like, I got very strong, like, Shirobako and Sakura Quest vibes from the show.
Like, I really enjoyed Appare Ranman, which they also worked on, and so maybe not a very similar show narratively speaking, but still.
These characters definitely made me think of like Shirobako and Sakura Quest. Absolutely.
Huh.
I know it was directed by Shu Hanma, who I believe this is his first work as an actual like director. But I know he's done episode direction on things like Uma Musume, Pretty Derby, Kevin's favorite show, Appare Ranman, and Sakura Quest. I did find out like the music.
I am not an Uma Musume fan.
Whatever. I know you like them horse idols.
I mean, I keep getting told the second season is amazing, but I never really made it past the first couple episodes of the first season.
I did find interesting that the music's done by someone known as Genki Hikota, who also, the other big thing I noticed they did was they've done a lot of theme song arrangements. And for example, they did the theme song arrangement for the ending theme of Ya Boy Kongming, but they also did the theme song arrangement and composition of the ending theme of Yuri on Ice.
Oh, yeah, YOLO. I don't know if that's not the real title, but...
But so yeah, this show is like mentioned, like it's pretty fun and pretty good. And I also know how I got into this show along with Doug, because we both got into it because two people would not shut up about it, and those two people were Kevin and Tobias.
I mean, on a certain level, this is a historical. Actually, he's a historical/mythical figure. He's both. Gets brought to a modern setting, which is super my jam.
It's a very Kevin concept.
But, so there's a level on which it was made to appeal to me a lot.
I mean, I really ramped up because, like everything in my life, because Twitter told me to do it.
Yeah.
Twitter would in turn not shut up about it either, so that's how I jumped on. I think another problem was because this is licensed through High Dive, not as many people will check those shows out necessarily in the same way they will Crunchyroll shows. So it already kind of had that going against it. But once people found out about it and the hype engine revved up, it took off.
High Dive has issues, and they are not the big boy in the game, even if they are kind of the only, just about the only competition in town now.
Maybe if High Dive wouldn't randomly take shows off their service, people would enjoy it more.
But Legend of Galactic Heroes came back, everyone. It's okay.
Well, it's good to have priorities, Kevin.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. But yeah, like literally Legend of Galactic Heroes just vanished off their site for a few days, and that was weird. Maybe longer than a few days. It was gone for a bit, but it came back. And I know a lot of people, that's literally the only reason they had High Dive. Like, I know multiple people.
I want to say that was one of the first ones that came back, because that was, again, a very, very important show for a lot of people, because that was the only real legal way to catch it. If you didn't have the $800 to buy the ridiculous set they put out.
And nobody does, even though they apparently eventually sold them all. I still don't believe anyone actually owns one.
Apparently, what people were doing was taking their stimulus checks to buy them, which sounds like a bad choice to spend your stimulus money on cartoons, but apparently the resale value on those is projected to go up by a lot. So $800 that most people got for free in the beginning of 2020 could easily turn into double that in 5 years or so, depending.
There are probably somebody who think about paying it. I don't know.
Unfortunately, while Legend of Galactic Heroes did come back, a lot of shows still haven't, and they're just kind of sitting on their hands and getting them back. I think the last I heard was that they were waiting on people to complain enough to bring some stuff to make sure that the licenses got renewed. That's weird. Glass Mask 1984 was pretty great. Great enough that we did a podcast on it just a month ago. So I really would love people to watch that show. High Dive. Bring it back.
But yet, they're not the soulless conglomerate that Crunchyroll is rapidly becoming.
Hey, now, High Dive is owned by AMC now.
What?
Yeah, like the AMC, the folks that browse things like Mad Men and what's that show that everyone liked that I could never get into? Breaking Bad. Yeah, that network, they own Sentai Filmworks and High Dive now.
Oh, that is so weird.
It is why AMC can't that, not AMC the theater chain?
Yeah, I was thinking the theater chain, and I was like, wait, what?
Important distinction. It is not the theater chain. It is the television network.
Then why does AMC not have some sort of highbrow film critic introducing like a Miyazaki movie for me on a Saturday afternoon? That's
that'd be great.
Well, I guess probably because they don't have the rights. That's sort of an obvious answer, but something.
So, Kevin, Tobias, what is this deal with this Ya Boy?
Well, he's Kongming. He's Ya Boy. It's good. That's all you need. No. But seriously, Kongming, a.k.a. Zhu Liang, which I probably mispronounced horribly because Chinese is hard, especially if you didn't grow up speaking Chinese.
Especially if you learn Japanese between now and then.
Yes, because, the Japanese pronounce Chinese names completely different from the Chinese, which is totally par for the course. But
I want to say they just made up their own versions of these names. This is a problem that came up in what was that? Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Thunderbolt Fantasy, where
also had like different names.
Were like you had like auditory whiplash anytime you hit someone's name in the subtitles.
Exactly.
But he's this. But Kongming is this awesome historical strategist and statesman guy from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms era, who is just like the most awesome strategy dude in the history of strategy dudes, maybe ever, if depending on who you ask. But, he died, and then he woke up in Tokyo in the modern day. That's completely what happened. Historically accurate.
Yeah, we're all aware of that. This Red Cliff scenario. Azalea. That happened 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. At least it made all the Japanese local news. You kind of have to follow Japanese news to hear about it, but yeah. But he wakes up he finds himself alive and well in the prime of life in Tokyo. Although for extra laughs, it happens to be Halloween, so he very much believes he's in hell for that whole night.
Okay, but look. I've listened to, I believe it was the 8-4 podcast that was, because 8-4, which is a video game translation company, they've worked on many things. For example, I know they do all the translation work for the Nier games and the Tales of games. Mm-hmm. They are located somewhere in Shibuya. And so a lot of I remember in October, I would always hear other podcasts about, on the podcast where they talk about, holy crap, Halloween in Shibuya is something else.
I guess that's pretty accurate then.
It is. I don't want to say it's the closest thing Japan has to like Mardi Gras, but that, as far as I can tell, that's not like the worst analogy one could make. Like it gets, as the kids say, lit.
Yeah, Japan really likes Halloween, like literally no joke.
Shibuya is a pretty trendy part of Tokyo.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of places to party and get drunk there.
I mean, the pandemic kind of put the stop it. Well, I think even before the pandemic hit, I remember they mentioning how in 2019 it was definitely not as crazy as it had been in previous years. But it's still, like, Halloween in Shibuya, like, is a thing. Like, if you want to go party, that is an excellent time to go party.
But, he kind of gets sucked up in the partying. Just like, man, hell's way more fun than I thought. ends up at a club, and, he's having a good old time, and then, this singer comes on stage and starts singing, and he's like, holy shit.
His mind is blown by how far
Yeah.
music has gone.
Although I think is kind of funny is Zhu Long is a character in Fate Grand Order, and when he first meets Eiko, she's basically wearing royalty-free Shootin' Doji cosplay. Because it's Halloween, so she's dressed up like an ogre.
What's Kongming like in Fate?
Well, it's Waver.
Oh.
Like, he's one of those rare ones who it's a character from Fate Stay Night who kind of got a heroic spirit attached to them. So mostly their personality is the character from the anime, not the historical figure. But he does have the little fan, and, he does make a few other references here and there. Like, the fan is such a dead giveaway. That's like, oh, you're Kongming, aren't you? Like, the outfit and the fan are like the dead giveaways. They always dress him like that, and he always has that fan.
that particular hat, I don't really know what you would call that, but his hat is very iconic.
It's like
it's
a snail shell.
But, so like Evan said, he gets trapped in Shibuya. He listens to this songstress, Eiko, who herself, she's like 20, 21, pretty young. She's about to get out of the game because she just hasn't been able to make it. Her Instagram post, or whatever they call it here, there's some anime original name for Instagram. Like, her Instagram can't take off. She just is not getting anywhere with any interviews or anything. So she's about to give it up when Kongming hears her song on Halloween and is so moved to tears by how amazing it sounds that he vows to stay by her side and make her a hit.
To employ all his strategic knowledge to do for her what he did for a whole ass country back in his day.
The way that it's framed is that he wanted, in his past life, he wanted peace. He wanted world peace, because the Romance of Three Kingdoms is about three kingdoms. It's about all of China, the known world as far as they knew it, in a constant struggle. So now that he's been reborn in what he thinks is hell, he sees Eiko and her music as being the peace that he strove for. He vows to make that a fact, to make everyone understand that her music is the equivalent to world peace.
I do feel like it's worth mentioning that the historic Kongming was not so much a great military strategist that he's painted as in stories. He tended to ask other people about military strategy. What he was really good at was finance and infrastructure.
Okay.
So have either one of y'all been inspired to go read the manga after watching the anime?
I kind of want to. I'm sort of hoping we'll get a second season of the anime, but I definitely want to see where it goes.
Yeah, I haven't got around to it yet, but it's certainly on my list.
I don't think it's a very long manga, in the grand scheme of manga, at least.
I think they've got 7 chapters out now. No, I'm sorry, volumes, 7 volumes or so out now. And they've got it set up where there's not really a service like Weekly Shonen Jump where you can just subscribe to get it. You actually have to buy the volumes, even digitally. And I'm going to do that eventually, but I've still got so much Shonen Jump stuff that I haven't really got around to reading anything else lately. But no, it's certainly on my list. While we're waiting for season 2 and whatever happens afterward, I'm sure the manga will be the way to get that story beforehand.
I'm really hoping maybe we get lucky and they'll include this as one of the various things that Kodansha will occasionally just decide to do a humble bundle where they'll just be like, yeah, give us $30 towards charity and we'll give you just truckloads of digital manga. And I would really love Ya Boy Kongming to be one of those mangas they offer.
Yeah.
Doesn't Kodansha work with Azuki, that new indie-ish manga sub?
They do. I don't think I've seen Ya Boy Kongming in there.
Yeah.
I also know that they also do some of their stuff is on Comixology, like Unlimited. Mm-hmm. Like the Amazon thing, there's some Kodansha stuff on there as well. So clearly they're open to play ball with various services, even though they don't have a service themselves.
Right, exactly. I would hope that eventually this makes its way to Azuki. I've been putting off subscribing to that as well, but they've got a bunch of stuff that's not just shonen fare. So that's been something I've been eyeing, and I think Kongming would probably put me over the edge and get me to drop some money on that. I think
it's a trip. This show is a trip.
I will say, getting into this show, I wasn't quite expecting how prevalent the music aspect ended up really being, because they very much do this. I don't want to say bait and switch, because Kongming is very much a central point to this show, but it is also very much Aiko's show and her journey to become a really popular and growing as a person and as a musician. And so the music is such an important part of this. And this is very much one of those things where, because you actually get to hear her sing and there's actual music at play, there is an element that you just can't get in the manga because you're actually hearing the musical side of things.
Exactly.
In that respect, I felt it was a little bit like Vivi, where you're not expecting the song, like the evolution of the singing, to be that good and that dynamic, but it really is, and it really adds to a lot of the show. Although I think it may be more to put it might be better to say this the other way around, that Vivi, like, it seems almost took some of its story beats from this with how it crafted that. Or maybe this is just a fairly standard, like, you know, rise of a star kind of storyline that I'm just not familiar with.
To an extent. I mean, let's have the mentor be a historical Chinese strategist is kind of a twist.
It's kind of a fresh take, yes.
Yeah.
But
it, you know, there's definitely anime that's like, oh, here's this person at the bottom of the rung of, you know, the entertainment industry just trying to get started, and oh nope, here something happens that sets off a rise in popularity, and, you know, they'll make friends and rivals, and their life will get weird, and just like, you got Kongming, who keeps applying elements from his more famous stories to real world scenarios.
Well, it's also tracking the rise of a young potential pop star who's not being majorly produced by one of these production companies, sort of like an indie pop star, if you will. Like, Kongming is more or less explaining how much, like, strategy actually is involved in. Like, it's not just talent, it's a lot of hard work and clever strategizing to get it off. Of course, she does have to be actually really, really good too.
Fortunately, she is.
Yeah.
but
for better or for worse, it's less about the quality of her music as it is managing popularity.
Right, because, you know, if we're being honest, we don't get to spend a lot of time with most of the potential rivals, but they all also seem pretty talented.
Well, but they spend a lot, like, I was rewatching it today, and I was noticing that it seemed like every major story arc was capped around acquiring a certain number of followers on Instagram. Like, she starts off with barely 200, and he gets her over 1,000, and that's like the first story arc. And now in the second story arc, he has to get her over 10,000. You know, it seems like a lot of focus is put on using, like, the internet following as a measure of her overall popularity.
There is a lot of live and die by social media in real life these days. It's not. It feels honest in a way.
Well, it goes back to what you just said about he's not, the actual figure wasn't really that much of a war strategist as much as he was an infrastructure strategist. And so it seems like that is very relevant.
It's like he was made for this.
They frame him as someone that knows people and knows the hearts of people. And
I like that once you're a few episodes in, you realize he's inexplicably just gotten to know everybody. Like, he's been a face around town. People have noticed him. People have talked to him.
Thank God he has to be an extrovert.
Yeah.
Like, he has to be, yeah. Like,
And
everybody
just people
notices him
just
because he's the guy who walks around claiming to be Kongming.
Yeah, I don't think anybody believes he's Kongming. Like, I'm not sure that anybody actually believes he's Kongming in the whole cast.
I don't know, the barkeep, the club owner guy. I think he kind of I think he might believe it.
I think he wants to believe.
Yeah.
I think the owner has said several things that, like, you can't be the real Kongming, but at the same time kind of acknowledges him as the real Kongming. Sort of like, I would equate this relationship to a group of girl otaku who are all super into Sailor Moon, and they're trying to decide who gets to be which Sailor Senshi. And, if one goes, well, I'm Mars, and the other one goes, well, I'm Venus, and then there are two Venuses, the Venuses then have to square off, and one of them wins, and she gets to be Venus. That's more what I saw the owner's conversation with him being like. He was like, okay, you have bested me in your Kongming knowledge, so you get to be him. But he doesn't actually think he is him.
He's just happy to find another nerd that likes that nerdy subject.
He's just another colorful Shibuya person. You just, oh, it's that guy who's dressed up like Kongming.
So I guess if I can't be Sailor Venus, I guess I'll be Sailor Moon herself.
He's just happy to have another Sailor Moon fan to talk to.
Right, exactly. Nobody cares about it that much.
And I'll be Jupiter because I have the most talent.
I think that's something that it's obvious to the Japanese viewers, I'm sure, but the Three Kingdoms stories aren't that well known over here comparatively. So, I mean, sure, you got nerds of Asian history that are aware of it, of course.
I'm pretty sure I'm only familiar with it by way of anime. Is how the only reason I ever know it existed.
Yeah, it's a genre of nerd in Japan, much like how we have D&D nerds, and then also anime nerds, and then also comic book nerds. Like it's an entire genre of nerd unto itself over there.
I kind of relate to it in the way that my mom is a serious Anglophile. Like, she likes British television, British history, British books, It's
there's some folks that are really into World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also very mythological in a sense. So it's like that, or even King Arthur, I feel like, is a close analog here.
Yeah. Romance of the Three Kingdoms is weird because all those people most of them are definitely very real historical people who actually lived. But most of what people know of them is through the Romance of the Three Kingdoms versions, which are heavily fictionalized, exaggerated versions of the real historical figures.
Wait, you mean they all don't just mow down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other folks with only 4 button presses in a Dynasty Warriors game?
No. In real life, they sometimes required 5 or 6 presses just to take down 10 guys.
Damn. I will say that I really hope somehow there's a random crossover with that one girl from Princess Jellyfish who is really into Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and she actually gets to meet Kongming and can, now die happy.
I feel like that's also, once again, worth sharing the story of how Kongming, the mythological, of how he met his wife. Because there was another minister who was like, you've been looking for a wife, right? Well, I have a daughter. She's kind of ugly. She's got light hair and dark skin, but she's smart. She's really smart. And he ended up meeting her, and he talked to her for a little bit, and she was really, really smart. And then he walked over to her and pushed back the veil she was wearing, and told her, "Your father is misinformed about your attractiveness."
It's funny you mentioned Princess Jellyfish, because that's really been my only other experience with Three Kingdoms. And watching that back in the day, I just kind of let it wash over me. I knew that I would never really understand the references she was making, but just kind of go with the flow because it was part of the joke. So it's kind of funny, 10 years later, 11 years later, to have it come back in a very different form.
Yeah. And let me say that the whole fish out of water or people not believing he's Kongming, they actually are very targeted and very well paced on how many times they use that particular brand of joke, so it always hits.
Yes, it does. Like, you would be surprised. Like you kind of sit there and go, so the whole thing is based off this joke that he's Kongming, he's actually Kongming here from the past, and nobody believes him. But every time they do, it's still hilarious.
Yeah.
Or at least pretty funny. Maybe hilarious is saying too much, but it's at least pretty funny every time they do it, because they, again, like Basil said, they do pace it out just right.
I imagine there's a bunch of weirdos that hang out on the party scene, anywhere. Half these people are probably intoxicated.
Might be true.
90% of their life. So, we've all known that weird guy at a con or anime club that affects something really strange about him that's just part of his personality.
Oh man, Kongming guy's weird, but last club I was at, there's this guy who swore he was Oda Nobunaga.
Well, I looked it up on TV Tropes, and apparently he's something called a bunny ears lawyer, and that is, he's just so absolutely super competent at everything he does that people are just willing to overlook the weird personal habit that he has acquired. In the trope name of the bunny ears lawyer, it would be the lawyer who insists on wearing bunny ears. It's the same thing of, you go, that's weird, but then you just keep moving past it because he's so freaking good at his job.
Yeah.
I actually really liked how the super traditional stuff, like the super ancient stuff, blends with like the modern hip hop. I called it modern hip hop, but you guys have been calling it EDM, and I don't know which one is correct.
Well, Eiko starts off very EDM in the stuff she's performing. But you also have Kabe Taijin, who comes in later in the show, who's definitely a rapper. But also Eiko's real serious get me into the music industry songs are a little bit more poppy.
The main song they build up to feels very soulful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very different than her earlier stuff.
But the first song that she does is straight up soup. It's electronic dance music. It is EDM.
It's club music. She's performing in a club or a bar with some dance space basically. But it's club music.
And there's really, I remember linking to this Substack, which I'll make sure we link to in the show notes, called Ya Boy Kongming and a Vanishing Shibuya, where I'm pretty sure it's someone in Japan who was writing about it, about how well they really land the vibe and feelings and the looks of super party town club scene of Shibuya. And there was a time when, for example, I'm thinking about the 2 years that Para Para was really big in Japan. Where somehow in the Tennessee Valley and southern, and middle Tennessee, somehow that became a whole scene for a decade for a section of nerddom, even though in Japan it was a blip.
Yeah.
This is a longer blip, but this is definitely still, potentially a blip, that a moment of time that this anime really expertly conveys and captures really well. But there is multiple different musical styles at play depending on what time. There's also the moments of when Eiko is just out jamming with her guitar, just out in the street, and that's a different style as well.
Doing some street music, just good old fashioned, got me an acoustic guitar, gonna sing in the middle of the street action.
Right, which I guess we're starting to really get into the more spoilery side of things. So let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with spoilers for Ya Boy Kongming. And we're back with spoilers for Ya Boy Kongming. And the fact is, there are spoilers. Like, there is a plot. There's a storyline that's going on. A lot of it is with Eiko and meeting, finally having, like, a rival, which I believe is Nanami Kuon, who is the voice, the lead vocalist and bassist for the rival group Azalea. And a lot of the latter half of the show is when... So eventually they meet some mogul guy who's like, okay, I'm doing a contest. Whoever can get these amount of likes on Instagram will get to play in my super hype big EDM festival.
Yeah. Whoever,
you're going to get a good stage.
People, whoever gets there first gets in. They get the spot.
and Kongming pretty quickly realizes that A, they have a shot, but B, this other group called Azalea, which has been around in the show, like here and there the whole time.
Like they already have popularity. They're a little more established.
Yeah. Well, even their bigger song, Underworld, is actually a song that Eiko does earlier. Like she does a cover of it earlier in the show during one of the events that Kongming's trying to grow her popularity initially.
I do like Azalea because they have their own little subplot of how they were like trying to be pure rockers, and they kind of gradually sold out to their manager and became more manufactured pop singers.
Like, when you get right down to it, we talked about Kongming and his role in this, and how he's not there necessarily to make Eiko's music better. He's there to play the popularity game and the social media game against that. And really, ultimately, isn't that what Azalea's manager is doing too? We see him as the bad guy, as the person trying to mechanically, like you said, like make it all processed and generated.
I mean, he is sort of the air quotes villain, if there is one in the show. Mm-hmm. But even he is like, he tried to make it big and kind of burned out, and he doesn't want to see them happen to these girls either. He thinks if he, runs them through what the market wants long enough and gets them popular enough, they could eventually do what they want. But I think is what his kind of thing was. Because he does kind of relent.
That seemed like his thing was that he tried to do his own sound, his own voice in the music industry, and he bombed out hard. It did not work out for him one bit. And so now he's like, well, I learned what the people like, and I'm just going to create what the people like. Whereas I feel what Kongming is doing is that he wants Eiko to be able to properly express her stuff how she wants to express it. He's just giving her the tools to do it, and also figuring out ways for people to hear it and manage that so that he can actually get the sound that she wants to put out into the world. Yeah,
it's out there. More versus trying to give people what they want versus trying to show people what is good.
Yeah.
Versus trapping people in a concert hall using bushes and planted plants and giving them free drinks. Yeah, that's a great thing to do, right?
That's strategy
there.
I mean,
it worked.
Look, that's just strategy.
Nothing in the rule book against that.
Look.
Show me in the rule book where I can't trap people.
Nothing in the rules say a reincarnated Chinese strategist can't have our epic rap battle of history.
Well, there's that too of Kabe Taijin's whole, his introduction and his whole, growing up and being on top of the world but oh no, I'm on top of the world. Oh God. Oh no, why did I do this? Oh wait, this is why I did it. Okay, cool. Now I'm good again.
If I was just gonna I really like Kabe Taijin. Like, I like him as a character, and I like his little arc as sort of a sub-story. I legit thought he was somehow gonna be like a rap verse in the final song, though, somehow. And that just didn't materialize. Like, I thought he was gonna be more directly relevant.
I think he might be in the next season or something. Because he kind of shows up when they're on the last stage. He gets the crowd up.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I liked him. I thought he was a likable character. You know, he's. I don't mind that he's there.
Okay.
In my opinion, he's. Go ahead.
Oh, this says a lot about him as a character. I like him. I really don't like Japanese rap. Like, I really don't like it. The way the syllables clash together. It sounds kind of disgusting to me. I really don't like it. I like him. He's cute. He's cute, and I end up wanting to root for him and hope he does well. He is a soft boy that I want to protect.
I adore Japanese rap, and
I
this was really
like
good stuff.
I really don't like it, but I didn't mind the Kongming rap portion so much. It kind of... I do have to say, not liking Japanese rap, when this story arc started, I kind of... It's hard for me to stay tuned into the show. I like so much of it, but I kind of tune out during this part because, you know, it's a Japanese rap battle. It's like zero interest. But then we get into like the idol group later with Azalea, and it gets so good again. And I like how they meet on the street.
Yeah.
I kind of had the opposite reaction, honestly. I think
Really?
I don't think that I agree that maybe Japanese rap isn't the best. I like the pluckiness of it. I like the fact that they've taken something that is not really made for their language and like made it work. Like, you notice that they use a lot of English words and loan words when they're doing the rap stuff, and I think it just doesn't work the same way that the Japanese we're used to. As I appreciate the pluckiness of it more so, I think, than the actual end result. But like Kabe Taijin's arc really, really resonated with me, and that in a sense that is really what the series as a whole is about. Kongming, we talk about Kongming as a tactician. That's not really his strength here. His strength is his unflappable belief in people and the knowledge that a person's worst enemy is their own anxiety. And whether it's with Eiko or Kabe Taijin or even what's her face from Azalea, like, he knows that they are causing their own problems.
Yeah.
So getting them to convince them to cut past that and fight those demons and come to the other side is really what Kongming's whole game is. And the rap battle, like, that was the pathos I was getting the entire time, is he's telling Kabe Taijin, look, you're talented as hell, but you've got this anxiety and you really just need to work past that. And to see that happen in real time on screen through this medium that he's really into really is indicative of the whole series. We see that in Eiko and even Azalea later. I think that's really what makes the show as a whole work for me, is that Kongming just wants to help people out, and support is really all people need at the end of the day. Or maybe not all, but, you know, that really is certainly more people need. And that at least carried the theme of the entire show.
Yeah, I wrote that down as one of my big underlying themes in my notes, that it seems like one of the big... If the show wanted to impart a moral onto you, the viewer, if there was something they wanted you to take away with, it felt like they wanted you to take away the feeling of that you should be fans of the people around you, and you should support the people around you in your life.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
so I also agree that Kongming could also probably hang out with the David Tennant iteration of the Doctor, and they would have a real good time together and really soul bond.
Man.
Yeah, probably.
Doctor Who needs to time travel back to Romance of Three Kingdoms.
Has he not been there already?
Get Kongming as a companion for a season. That'd be awesome.
Right? Also, I just want to also give out, props to, especially the voice acting in this show is very, very good. But man, for as far as the scene goes, like 96 Neko for Eiko and Lesel, who is also the voice of Nanami for Azalea, like they sing it real good.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. The music is good. I enjoy the music a lot. I'm
really curious to see how High Dive does it with dubbing this.
Oh, the dub, yeah.
Yeah.
Because...
Oh, yeah. I like the epic rap battle episode, because the guy who did the translating, like, literally posted on Twitter this big, long thread of the whole process, because it was such a different thing than they've ever had to do before. I also saw him talking about how he said he was sending copious notes to the ADR director about the whole thing.
What I found interesting was, at least for the opening and the ending, I'm not really sure about the insert song, but they are both covers. They're not original songs. So the opening, which Basil said at the beginning of the episode, the Chicky Chicky Bon Bon, that is actually a Hungarian song from, I want to say, the early 2000s.
Yeah,
like a party song. But yeah, a Hungarian song was translated, I think, originally into Japan. I think that was covered in Japanese a few years back, and that version is what made it into this television show.
Which is so weird.
I thought I had heard somewhere that it was a Korean band, and the Korean band was just like so happy that their song got put in an anime that they didn't care. That they didn't care that it was covered by somebody else.
It's a
but that's just a rumor I heard, whereas I
yeah,
assume you're talking about known things.
It's a Hungarian song. It's a cover from Mihimaru GT was the duo who did the cover that the version we got is based on.
Right. This is like the third iteration of the song in Kongming. Yeah. And likewise, the ending is kind of the same way. Kibun Jojo was a song, again, from the 2000s. I think most people recognize that from Oendan, that rhythm game for the DS.
Yeah, it's, a lot of music. And it is it's remarked upon a few times that, they're like, Eiko is doing covers in a club. She's singing other people's songs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that works even in universe.
Yeah. But it's a real catchy opening. It really is. It's like, man, it got me hyped for the episode every time.
I did like finding out that they actually even made sure to do the entire dance set to the song and made sure that was on the Avex website on YouTube. So that way, if you want to learn the Kongming, dance, you can do that.
You do.
I do. Like, I want to learn that dance. That looks awesome.
Like one of, friends of the show, the Fake Idol Project, I was like, hey, y'all should totally learn this dance. And actually, one of our friends did it. They did it at Otakon and posted a link, and I'll post the video to it too. And she did a really good job. But they also had like a Kongming cosplayer like in the back, where they were just had this big old grin on their face while they were watching, the Eiko cosplayer dancing, and just bobbing their head to the beat, and just being really happy to be there and just so proud of Eiko. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. They did such a good job.
Yeah. I think that with the visuals in the opening are pretty great. Like, there's not a whole lot of animation exactly. It's a lot of stills and short scenes, but there's just a lot of fun energy in that opening. It works well with the dance and the music.
Yeah, it's weird juxtapositions of some like traditional Chinese art imagery and weird party scenes, like riding on cars and big champagne towers, and
yeah, exactly. Just feels over the top, and a lot of that party music and the music videos are just all about living up and living life, and I really feel like that's what the opening is conveying, that characters are having fun, they're grooving.
I had asked y'all about the manga earlier because I wanted to know if like anybody felt any romantic overtones between Eiko and Kongming, because I'm not sure if I did or not. I would sometimes, but equally as many times as I felt there might be something, I felt, oh, there's definitely not. It's definitely more of a...
I mean, I'm me, but I kind of felt like Eiko had more going on with Nanami than Kongming. And I kind of feel like Kongming had more going on with, crap.
Everybody else? Literally, everybody else?
Liu Bei, like in the flashbacks, you know, like I said, Kongming was nominally married to a woman in the past. I kind of feel like he reads a little gay in the show, and that's not a insult or a detriment. I like him a lot. He's got a little bit of a gay vibe. Of course, could be bi. A lot of history of bi Chinese awesome guys.
Yeah, I didn't really get a romantic undertones between Eiko and Kongming, really. I feel like they're focused on the task at hand. Kongming is just really into this idea of world peace. He's just so focused on... He knows what Eiko's going to do. He's already figured it out. He's playing 4D chess with Eiko. Like, there's the part where he gives her the bag.
Like, vibe together really well. Like, they feel like they're friends. You know, they feel like they like each other, but...
Yeah.
A platonic relationship.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm me, so I'm like, oh yeah, Eiko and Nanami, you know, friends,
yeah, I mean,
or
I don't
rivals.
think that's just the you thing, honestly. Yeah. I feel like, sure, it's going to be just we're working to make each other better, but there's something going on there. There's definitely an appreciation, whether or not that's a full-on romance or just, oh, you know, the historical, they were just really close friends, wink, wink. Deal. I definitely get that vibe from them, if nothing else. Yeah. They are
my one really fear. Yeah, one fear with any follow-up is if Eiko got any canonical male love interest. I'm like, no, I already have a headcanon.
Well, I'm eager to get on to the questions section. I know we've got a bunch of good ones.
We got a big old question section. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
戦に明け暮れ培った知略理解してる人間の持つ疑惑仕組んだ計略が見事に起爆心を読めるからでございますやめると言ってバトルをしてるのは一体全体なぜでしょう答えてくれたらお酒を一杯シャンディガフでもごりましょううまく答えられなければ今日のラップがあなたに参考になるチェケラ一つ勘違い私は
And we're back with questions from listeners like you, from the internet to us, also on the internet, but into microphones together on a online program to create answers for those questions. From Alan Mendez at HisweRT for the Reverse Thieves. How much experience did any of you have with... Kevin pronounced the name. I'm not even going to try. Yes, from Ya Boy Mongering. So mine is...
I'm assuming that's a typo, maybe. I don't know. Or is that a joke I just don't get?
I assumed it's a joke that we don't get.
I mean, sort of peripherally, more like as a, that's a fake Grand Order character, basically. And, they're in some of those Dynasty Warrior games.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors and Princess Jellyfish.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, I'm sure this is a name that I heard when watching Princess Jellyfish, and it went in one ear and out the other. And
although I am getting progressively closer to actually breaking down and trying to read Romance of the Three Kingdoms one day. I'm getting ever so closer.
There's a podcast. There's two things I want to bring up if we're talking about this. There's a podcast I found. Let me dig it up in my podcast app, where basically the guy's going through the stories. It's just called Romance of the Three Kingdoms Podcast by John Zhu. And I listened to one episode because I'm behind on all my podcasts, but he's basically going through the entire story and, recanting it in English.
It's like that and Suikoden, like the novel, not the video games. Like, those I actually kind of want to read someday, just somehow. It'd be nice if there was a good English version.
That, and I want to say somebody recently has been fan subbing the 1993 Chinese TV version. I think the group is called Gentlemen or Gentlemen of the Han.
I think I've seen that same person.
Yeah, I found the fan subs when it was going around, I want to say a few months back, and I've downloaded what they put out. I want to say the first 40 or so episodes of the TV series. But that is on my backlog. I
think that's the one that's generally agreed to be the quote-unquote good one.
Yeah.
I straight up confused Zulang with Sun Tzu for a little while. There is how little experience I have with it. Like, I've been vaguely aware of the romance of the Three Kingdoms stuff, but it's always been like it's like a step tangential to whatever nerd thing it is I'm nerding out about. Like, you know, I get really into like historic Japanese culture, and a lot of that makes a lot of references to the Three Kingdoms, but I'm so busy catching up on the ancient Japanese culture that I don't have enough time to go back and look at the ancient Chinese culture, even though I know even though I know that there's a crossroads. But as I was watching this and he was going over his stratagems, I kept thinking, that sounds a lot like something that's in The Art of War. Is this the guy who wrote The Art of War? No, that was a different guy.
But he popularized some of the ideas.
well, no, I looked it up earlier. I looked it up earlier, and he wrote his own Mastering the Art of War, but it was not Sun Tzu's The Art of War, which is the book most people cite as the definitive Art of War book. But Sun Tzu actually came later, I think.
Oh, and I guess I should mention, since with this question, I did, when I was like a young kid, I did try to play the Romance of Three Kingdoms game on the NES.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rented that for a weekend. Another thing, I then rented one of the Super Nintendo versions for a weekend and never got very far in either one.
I came very close to buying one of the recent ones because it had Legend of Galactic Heroes DLC. True story.
Man, that is on brand. Like not just for Kevin, but also because it's on High Dive.
Yeah. Just had a couple of the characters as like generals downloadable, as well as some people from one of the Atelier Alchemist games.
Video games, man. So if you could have him be your personal strategist, what would you use his genius mind for?
I'd have him make me president.
Why?
Because with him doing all the real thinking, I might actually be able to accomplish something.
But we just had somebody who is incompetent at being president become president and be president for a little while. Why would you do that to us again?
See, I'd be a better incompetent president because I'd listen to the competent people.
Okay.
I mean, I think making medieval cough syrup really only gets you so far. President may be aiming a little high.
Do we know that Marjorie Taylor Greene's only problem isn't just that she needs a good cough syrup? Do we know that wouldn't fix everything?
Oh, medieval ancient Chinese cough syrup.
Apparently they really did make bomb-ass cough syrup.
I mean, as for me, I would just use Kongming to, I don't know, give me a better job. Get me motivated. That's the problem. Is I don't have enough structure to like figure that out, and I just kind of get frustrated and kind of am fine with the status quo. So I think if I had Kongming,
be my book editor.
Exactly.
Be my book editor and cheering section.
Somebody to do the logistics. I think that would be the best thing for me.
Manage my social media, Kongming.
Exactly. He'll turn me into an Instagram star, and I'll never have to work again because I sell makeup to people or whatever influencers do.
Yeah. I have a lot of anxiety about this question. On the one hand, I have once before been on my rise up to becoming somewhat famous, and I did not like it. I was bothered by it. That's kind of why I use pseudonyms all the time now, religiously, wherever I go. Because I've had the experience of people knowing who I am at a glance, and I didn't like it, and so I worry that I don't think there's much Kongming can do to improve my life through his strategies. Like, I think just be a cool dude is enough.
I want him to make this podcast the most popular podcast in the land.
Oh, no. And the monkey's paw finger turns.
Oh, no. What have I done? But, yeah.
Keep putting out Carbuncle episodes, and maybe it will be.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
You really liked that episode of the Carbuncle Chronicle, didn't you?
I want more. Give me just pump more 14 content in my ear holes.
All
right. So Charlie at _sommelier asks, because these are very much Charlie questions, who's your boy?
It's Charlie. That's the answer. It's Charlie.
Who's your best boy?
That's Dylan. That's my answer.
And then, who's a good boy?
I mean, your boy. Your boy is obviously Kongming. It's in the title. Kabitaijin is probably the best boy. And Aiko's little nerd, fanboy who Kongming uses as a spy, he's a good boy.
I really hope he shows up more, because he shows up in the ending as the little dude in the background, and we see him. If you watch the show, he shows up in every performance, so he's going to be that otaku.
I liked him. He was the little otaku ninja spy. He's
So Tobias, my question for you is, which one of these three questions would be best answered by Cosmo?
Be answered as in he is the answer, or what do you think he would?
Yes, as he is the answer.
He's not really good. He's tolerable at best, but he is my boy, so yeah.
Because I know, for example, as far as Doug's concerned, Colin is a good boy.
Yes, Colin is a good boy. Let's see, I'm torn between who's my best boy. Between you, Basil, or Yuri Katsuki. Either one. Either Basil or Yuri.
Well, for me, who's my best boy is my boy Gaius, a.k.a. my cat Gaius, who I am surprised isn't trying to jump into my arms while I'm recording as we speak. So,
I'm really struggling to just the base who's your boy question. I keep thinking I may have to go with the person I usually go with, which is Catherine de Brexania. But I don't know that she would actually be my boy. So I keep trying to think of who would from history be my boy.
The philosophical questions we answer on the OSMcast.
Who from history would be your boy?
Hideaki Anno.
I feel like that could be like a history program channel. It could be kind of like Drunk History, except you'd bring in a comedian or actor and be like, so, who in history is your boy?
Well, every historian has one. Every historian has, this one historical figure who's, their boy.
I'm actually starting to think mine might be Oda Nobunaga.
Yeah, yours is clearly Oda Nobunaga. I can't call that one.
Love him or hate him, he's kind of my boy.
For me, sadly, because it is now in the past and it is now history, but for me, it would be Douglas Adams.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fair.
I wish he was still around today, but he's not, and he'd be my boy.
Well, then, if you're going to go with Douglas Adams, then I'm going to go with Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett's my boy.
Oh.
Good answer.
Oh.
And of
E.
course,
Doc Smith. I have a better answer than Lovecraft. E. Doc Smith. I feel better about that one.
Of course, I know.
Yeah.
for Tobias, I'm sure his boy is one Bill Foreman, the Millennium.
The Millennium
at
himself.
WD Foreman 999 with many questions and comments like rapping was very popular in anime this past season. Why do you think that's the case? It was in Kongming, Love is War, and Aharen-san.
I've only seen one of those shows.
Earlier in Megalobox season 1.
Wasn't there a whole like look at all these pretty boys rapping anime too that like you tried to get me to watch and I turned and
Hypnosis
looked at you
Mike,
like,
I want to say.
Yeah.
Hypnosis Mike. I mean, there's also, for example, rapping in, wasn't it Devilman Crybaby? Like,
Devilman Crybaby kind of had they kind of had a Greek chorus of SoundCloud rappers, which I thought was kind of brilliant, really.
And then there was the other idol anime. My brain's not blinking on the name with the zombies. Zombieland Saga.
Zombieland Saga. They had a little bit of rapping.
Yeah, I think the answer is because I think rapping has gotten popular in Japanese trendy culture, like not actually the culture that like most otaku are familiar with, like not the nerd culture, but like as part of the mainstream Japanese culture is getting popular is why I think it's showing up in anime now.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. That's pretty much the answer. It's just it's going through a phase. Like everything, music has phases and trends, and this just happens to be it right at this moment of time. So it's interesting.
They're finally catching up with the 2000s rap scene.
Well, what I think they've got is I think there are some Japanese rappers now.
Yeah.
That are fairly famous, and I wish I knew who they were because I have no idea. Like I said, I don't really like Japanese rap.
If you haven't done an anime theme song, I probably don't know who you are in Japanese music. So,
Well, I would point out that Rip Slime is a very good Japanese rap group. They did the opening for Gantz, for example, and the most anime of things possible, they did do the ending theme for the Japanese dub of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, God.
That's a deep cut.
Which, that music I could have Anna link to right now.
SpongeBob, 僕の SpongeBob, 僕らのスクエアパンツみんなのスクエアパンツ海の中で暮らす仲間たちとクラップ驚いたり泣いてみたりいつでも笑顔でいたりみんなこっち来いほらこっち来いスポンジボブスクエアパンツと明日も一緒に遊ぼう
Oh no.
Now, Bill then asked a foolish question for everyone, but mostly me, when he asks, who is the best rapper in anime? And that's Luffy. It's Monkey D. Luffy. He's king of the pirates. He's made of rubber. How did that happen? Yo ho ho. He took a bite of gun gum. Got yayo, yayo.
Yayo.
I mean, I think that answers it definitively.
Yeah. Can't really beat that.
Not to admit that I don't know any anime rappers. I except for like the ones we saw in Kongming.
He swears, Bill does, that the new segment in Love is War, Kaguya-sama, is supposed to be really, really good. I haven't caught up to that yet, but everyone says it's amazing.
Chika Fujiwara from Kaguya-sama Love is War is the best
I've been told that's a good show, but I've not sat down with it.
Well, you're missing out, Kevin. It's a good show.
Look, the answer's simple. His name's Zolo, he's just like a samurai, and in L.A.D.Y. Nami's not shy, Usopp's doing that marksman thing, Sanji's cooking, Chopper's doctoring.
Oh, poor kids.
Yayo,
not what
yayo.
on the world.
Yayo.
You just gotta set sail for One Piece. It's the name of the treasure in the Grand Line. Yayo, yayo, set sail for One Piece. Dreaming, don't give it up, Luffy. Dreaming, don't give it up, Zolo. Dreaming up, don't give it up, no man.
Are you going to go through the whole thing?
I just did.
You're going to go through the whole thing very slowly, like line at a time?
Well, I literally just did. Like, that was all of it, actually.
Okay. Okay.
So, congratulations, we're done. We did it, everybody.
We did it.
I hope you're happy, Bill. This is what you asked for.
That's right. That is what you asked for. You didn't know it, but that's what you get. But he also asked, since Kongming is a master strategist, can you think of a time where you felt like a master strategist?
That would ever imply I ever felt like I had anything together in life at any point.
There have been several times where I felt like a master strategist. All of them were when I was dungeon mastering a game. And I elicited the right feelings out of the players, and it was so fantastic. I tricked them in all the right ways.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a real good feeling.
Man, I was going to go with the time early on in the OSMcast life where I had the brilliant idea to leave business cards at anime cons in the bathrooms.
Did that work out for you? Did that give a noticeable impression on your downloads and stuff?
A little bit, yeah, actually. And some people mentioned, they're like, oh, wait, like, weren't you guys allowed to put the cards in the bathroom? And I went, yes.
The bathroom podcast.
And you responded to that. So this wins.
I guess my real answer is anytime people have thought I've done something really clever or amazing, when I just kind of happened by accident and I'm like, yeah, I meant to do that.
So for me, I've made a couple discoveries in my time as anime fan. First of all, I've discovered that there is in fact a god. I've discovered that this god hates anime conventions with a passion.
Yeah.
And that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And that as a career panelist, I had to struggle with this evil god that hated what I do. So I've learned to have a go bag of full of adapters and cables and whatnot, because when I get to a panel room, there will be something that goes wrong, and I had to be ready for that. So I cannot tell you how many times it's been missing a power outlet that I had to bring my own power strip. Audio didn't work, so I had to have a little USB adapter, for audio, like a little sound card. I've got a bunch of junk, but I always feel like I could solve that problem when those problems rose up.
So your master strategy is being really prepared, which is a legit strategy that Kongming utilizes in the anime. Just being that prepared is its own, it's a very good strategy.
I always carry 3 bags in my convention bag. One is a ticket to a rooftop bar. One is a permit to a busking. One is a coupon for a pudding. That always works out.
Well, Bill's other question is, or his next question, is the opening for Your Boy Kongming better than Cowboy Bebop's opening and Ava's combined? I heard this 100% facts from one Reverend _ Tobias.
Yeah, so here's the joke is that Bill hates Chicky Chicky Bon Bon, which means we should all shame him publicly on this podcast. He despises this song to the point where when we were at the con this past weekend, I would find ways to play it in the background and see how long it would go before he would notice the song.
Oh, that's great.
It's an earworm. It definitely got in my head, and I would just for several weeks after seeing the first couple of episodes, I was just walking around just muttering "Chicky Chicky Bom Bom" to myself, not in tune.
It just has a way of coming back in your head.
And also not knowing the rest of the song, just "Bom Bom, oh Chicky Chicky Bom Bom," and then I'm aware that there's some other part of the song that connects it to the next time it goes "Bom Bom, oh Chicky Chicky Bom Bom."
For some reason, I kept singing it when I was going out to check the mail while Kongming was running.
I think that Chiki Chiki Bon Bon is in fact better than if you combined those, the Cowboy Bebop opening and the Ava opening together. But I haven't actually seen that, so until I hear that, I'll have to hold my judgment. But I don't think that it's better than either song individually.
All I know is that Tobias secretly and slyly playing Chiki Chiki Bon Bon at random points in Bill's life, just waiting for him to notice. That's a master strategy.
Exactly. It has become the... have you played the free trial of the critically acclaimed, opening Chiki Chiki Bon Bon to the award-winning Ya Boy Kongming anime? It's become that.
Okay, so Bill's last comment is I wish the manager of the rival group Azalea was more a maniacal manager / over-the-top soap opera evil, because that's more fun. And he didn't become such a softie in the end. I think the story could have continued with Azalea as a rival, but I guess I had to wrap the show up. I mean, again, feels very PA Works.
Yeah.
And especially, again, very, very Shirobako, very Sakura Quest, where it felt like, again, there wasn't any real... The real villains was the anxieties that we had to get through along the way. It wasn't really other people being soap opera villains. And the show, I think, was better off overall for that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that Kongming goes out of his way to make allies instead of enemies. Like, every time he pulls a strategy that screws somebody else over, he also does something to help that other person, too. Most of the time, it's making Chinese cough syrup, but, and so I feel like the manager being a softie who needed to reconnect with what the singers wanted was a good move.
Yeah, I just love when they're like
the tone of the story.
Yeah, and I just love like Azalea's response to Aiko's song is just like break out their old instruments and play one of their oldies when they were trying to just be like rockers.
Yeah.
So we actually went into this point, Bill's point here, a little more in depth than our most recent podcast episode. So you'll have to go listen to that if you want more detailed take. That is the spring 2022 review on thirdimpactanime.com. Check it out.
Ah, clever.
Dave Penna at David__Penna asks, what's the show about?
Man,
and David,
I got no idea.
I'm glad you asked. This is the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome. We talk about things like anime, video games, the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy XIV, which has a free trial up to level 60, which includes the award-winning Heavensward expansion with no limits on playtime. It's called the Carbon Chronicle. But we also, we talk about anime, video games. John Robbins gets lots of really cool interviews with various voice actors. It's a good time. You should definitely be listening to us if you haven't been already.
We're a tall friend simulator.
Tall friend simulator.
That too.
Everyone's tall.
Which is funny because the tallest one of us actually is our guest Tobias, I'm pretty sure, as far as this group of four.
Everyone's tall on an audio podcast.
As tall as how loud you are.
It's a tall friend simulator.
And speaking of tall friends, Boku Sachi at Sachikoma asks, which Kongming outfit from the opening or the series is the best? I'm going to come out first and say the tracksuit.
I just think the traditional outfit works. It is iconic. The hat's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. The fan is a nice touch, a nice little accessory. The few cosplayers that we've seen so far and the way they've integrated the facial hair with the mask that everyone is wearing is a really nice touch. Because they're like, I've got facial hair, but I couldn't really grow it into Kongming grandeur. Yeah. So to see people adapt it has been a nice touch.
I do like the really big wraparound sunglasses with like the screen on the front.
No way, the star sunglasses are better.
That's pretty good too.
I like the star sunglasses with the traditional outfit.
And this is tangential, but like Aiko's uniform, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
the coat
I have like
and the shorts. It's cool.
Yeah.
I have comments on her uniform that I want to talk about. I forgot that I wanted to talk about these. Okay, I noticed that in like the still pictures they don't show it, but in the anime when I was watching it, she has like a little like trans flag on her hat.
In one of the episodes she does, yeah.
Like pretty regularly in more than one of the episodes. Like one of her regular hats is like this like light blue hat with like a trans flag on the middle. Like
I noticed that.
Okay.
are they telling us something? Is she trans? Like I don't know.
Okay. To the best of my knowledge, there's nothing within the manga that we haven't seen to substantiate that. But we do know she was on the verge of committing suicide at one point in her life.
So my conspiracy theory about this anime is that she is a trans lady, and that has been part of what all her trauma and fight has been about. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but it's my truth now. And I support her.
I did notice that. Like, I noticed it. I don't remember the episode I noticed it specifically, but I'm like, is that a trans flag on her hat?
The only hat I noticed was when she had the hat that said hat, or it said cap on it. It just said cap.
The other thing about her jacket, the first thing I noticed about it was that it's a 3-color rainbow. Like it's red, yellow, blue.
Yeah.
Or pink, yellow, blue. The second thing I noticed about it is those are actually the tones that you would use if you were trying to paint an Asian face.
To try to commit what?
If you're trying to paint an Asian face, the colors of the face zones that you would use is that shade of pink, navy blue, and yellow.
Okay.
Huh.
Like for an Asian face, you typically that's for an Asian face, the pink with the navy. For a Caucasian face, you typically go with more of a red, and then like a yellow, and then like a blue-green. And then for an African American face, you typically go for a more vivid blue, a green, and then a pink like that. And I thought it was neat.
I did notice that. That's interesting.
Like it's not put in the right order, but it still is the shades that you would use, and I thought that, like, I don't know if they're going with that angle or with the rainbow angle, but anyway, I like it and I want to knit it as a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I mean, that's all right.
I did like
Today I learned
that
something.
the ladies, especially in their day-to-day clothes, were just kind of regular people clothes. Like, they weren't going for anything, like, super sexy. They were just like, yeah, I'm going to wear, like, my shorts and my hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah. This looks comfy, you know?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to skip around here. First, I did get some comments from the Otaku Melancholy podcast, their Discord server, where when I mentioned I was asked for questions and comments, what I got was from Opie Expert Ash, hell yeah. And then from Anime of the Week, WEAK, totally underrated anime. And I'm guessing it's gotten a little more rated since High Dive's actually now, after the fact, producing a dub for it. But speaking of High Dive, we got a couple questions from this one. These two came from Tammy at Tammy's Head. Why do I have to watch all High Dive animes illegally? If I just want to watch it in my language, as I can tell, it looks like they're from Germany, so I'm guessing they're looking for subtitles in German.
My guess would be because High Dive is an English company, and they're in charge of licensing it for English release. And I don't know why they're not making a German release if they're approved to license the thing in German-speaking places.
Yeah,
well,
distribution is a difficult thing and not as easy as we'd like to believe it is. So unfortunately, you know, sometimes you got to get stuff in different ways.
Maybe a German-speaking company should get a license to release it in German.
I do know that High Dive, which, by the way, Tammy. We are not actually in any way supported or endorsed or paid by High Dive whatsoever.
Speak for yourself.
However, I am for sale. So if High Dive wants to start tossing some money our way and having us being spokespeople for High Dive, I'm all about that. The email is awesomecast@gmail.com. Just send me a message, yo, and we'll talk things out.
I mean, we tried to do that. We gave free advertising for Glass Mask, and they shut it down the day after.
Tobias, shut up, Tobias.
As soon as this
I'm trying to get High Dive to like me. Senpai noticed us and gave us a tweet. Shut up.
Let's just hope they don't drop Kongming the day after this episode goes off. Dub canceled. Kongming canceled. Basil talked about it. We can't do it no more.
They do have English subtitles, Portuguese subtitles, and Spanish Latin America subtitles. Now, again, as to why they have German subtitles, I don't know.
I mean, it'd be pretty cool if they did that, but I don't know if they have the licensing for it. Like, I don't know if they have the permission from the Japanese company to do that.
It's true, and the other question is, why block Crunchyroll, who has so many languages?
Who's blocking Crunchyroll?
I think their first language is probably German. And as far as I can tell, their Twitter...
Crunchyroll?
I think they mean, why not be like Crunchyroll, which has so many different languages?
Just go ahead and blame it on Basil. It's Basil's fault. He did this.
Or they're asking, why are we blocking Crunchyroll? And we're not. I sincerely want everybody to have access to Crunchyroll.
Yeah, give
really
Sony more power.
I was really confused when this was on High Dive and not Crunchyroll.
Now, my question, I think, is because I'm looking here, for example, I am looking at Spy Family. And for Spy Family, they have English subtitles. They also have an English dub. They have a German dub. They have a French dub. They have a Portuguese dub, a Russian dub, and a Spanish dub. So I think the real trick is that Crunchyroll is owned by Sony, which is a worldwide conglomerate of a company at this point in time. And Crunchyroll tends to license things for the entire world that's not Asian American countries. And
gosh, which company was it that had the bug in their app where it would where various series would get stuck on like the Spanish speaking version? And
I feel like that had to be Funimation.
Yeah, that was Funimation. Oh my gosh, that was the only one that I knew that made it so that you couldn't watch it in the language of your preference.
Because Funimation is like notoriously buggy apps.
Yeah, it was just a bug.
But they solved that problem. They solved it. They bought Crunchyroll. Okay. Problem solved. They bought Crunchyroll and Right Stuff. That's weird. But they fixed it. But we're talking about High Dive. You know, friends of the show. Folks that should totally be sponsoring us. High Dive. Who loves good anime like Glass Mask 1984. High Dive.
Even if they should take one more pass on their translation sometimes. But you can say that about Crunchyroll too.
And I think High Dive's they've been getting better and better lately. But they did ask High Dive some questions from who was trying to get people to ask us questions. Which was from Julian C at JLC0417. When's the dub coming out? And Jeff Swan at SSJ Ichigo 69. Nice. Hopefully the question on everyone's mind will be answered. English dub release date? So I am here to answer this question. When the English dub is coming out. At least within 5 years. I feel I can pretty definitively say, as someone who is not in any way actually endorsed or have knowledge of High Dive's internal activities, within 5 years you will get an English dub and you'll enjoy it. Or you'll hate it and you'll let them know on Twitter.
Man, I wish we were sponsored by High Dive so that we could know like the answer to this question for people.
Hi everybody, Basil here. I've got an addendum to this episode. As it turns out, when we were recording, we had no idea when Ya Boy Kongming was going to get dubs on High Dive. Well, as it turns out, now that it's been like a month or two since we recorded this episode, things happened. Anyways, High Dive is now actively dubbing Ya Boy. In fact, they're up to, as of the addendum recording, up to episode 7. And it looks like that episode 8 will be on November 11th, and episode 9 will be November 18th, and episode 10 will be November 25th of Year of Our Lord 20,022. So, now you know, when is Ya Boy Kongming going to get dubs on High Dive? Why, as you're listening, probably. All right, back to the show. And then Spence asks, at Shadow Dark Knife, nice edgy name right there. Good job, Spence. What plans do you have to compete with other giants like Crunchyroll and Netflix? Are you going to revamp the avatar customization? I think adding exclusive clothing and items from the shows you watch could be a fun implement.
Well,
Does it have an avatar system?
I think first I'm going to start hosting a website for illegal fan subs. And just when that starts getting going good and the law catches on, I'm going to hop a plane to Japan, beg, borrow, and steal real official licenses, start my own official streaming company.
Get bought out by Sony.
Get bought out by Sony.
After you sell out to AT&T and all that.
Yeah, you gotta get bought out by Elation, and then who also buys out Rooster Teeth, and then gets sold to AT&T, and then AT&T sells it off to Sony. Yeah,
you have to fund My Brother and Me podcast. Oh, well, you know what? Why don't we get an OSMcast TV show? Let's get AT&T to make an OSMcast TV show. God. Then we can sell. Let's go pitch
it. Yeah, let's pitch it to CISO or a Quibi. And see who bites.
I hear Discovery needs some new content for their new streaming service, right?
Right. Oh, I also didn't realize that Priest 206 at Priest 206050278. Boy, I hope that's not like their phone number.
First name, bunch of numbers.
We asking questions? When you fixing your POS streaming platform? I don't know if they're from anywhere, but that's how that came out. The one thing I would like High Dive to fix is that every time I go to the website, I have to re-log in. It never remembers me.
I was fine with High Dive. Like on my Alexa, it was fine.
Oh, as far as I can tell, it remembers everyone just fine via apps. It's just the website itself.
I see.
It does forget me like every time I go to the website to watch something on my laptop and I have to re-log in. Just every time. It is mildly annoying.
Well, Basil, what about our POS streaming platform? What are we doing about it?
What are we doing about our POS streaming platform, which is High Dive?
Yeah.
That's right. We are AMC, the TV network, not the movie chain. That's very, very important.
We are?
What we are going to be doing about that is nothing.
Okay.
We're just going to let it keep going just as it is, and people will deal, and they're going to complain about it more, and eventually we will solve it, I guess, by buying Crunchyroll.
You know, I got another solution that may work here. How about we take off a number of shows out of nowhere, not telling anybody we're taking the shows off the service? Maybe that'll free up the bandwidth and make them run smoother. Because after all, who's really watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes and Glassmass 1984? Nobody.
Nobody, that's who.
Yeah. Everyone's watching Armored Troopers Vodoms, that classic 1979 mecha series that taken the world by storm. Let me ask you, Priest 206050278. Have you watched Armored Troopers Vodoms? Then you should shut the hell up until you do. That's all I gotta say.
Tim Eldred's favorite anime.
Yeah, but you guys are still answering the question on behalf of High Dive, but I'm asking, like, us, like, what about our streaming platform? Like, seriously, what are we doing about it?
I'm telling you, more Carbuncle Chronicles. Every day I need a new episode of Final Fantasy XIV. I don't need to play the game. I just want to hear other people talk about it. That would help.
Look,
a lot.
I have, not realizing, but I have inadvertently made it like the second primary show because the idea was to do it monthly. But the real trick is what we've been doing is every other week for the official free shows, which means that every other episode is now going to be a Carbuncle Chronicle.
There you go.
So you're going to get way more Final Fantasy XIV content than I intended to give you.
You have to
congratulations,
beat,
Tobias.
You have to beat Nadia and the Charlene dropouts, as far as output. I'm giving you money.
I'm so freaking behind on my Axe of the Blood Gods. My God.
My blood god. To go back a bit, the question before from @ShadowDarkKnife, when you ask about avatar customization, I kind of had a flashback. You remember like the day of the Mii's and the Xbox gamer tags? And like you would have, what are they called? The little Xbox ones, your characters. But like you could get
avatars.
They were avatars, that's right, yeah.
I remember having one of those.
What about Go Gaia? That's what you should be remembering.
But you had like the shirts you could buy, and like you could spend your little Microsoft points, whatever they were called. I think they were literally just Microsoft points. You know, the $2 or whatever you had left over in your account to buy like a Rock Band themed shirt. Or I think I had a Sonic hat at one point. It's like, man, I remember that time when we were putting like time and effort into little avatars and customizing our gamer tags and stuff.
Yeah.
You mean the multiverse? No, not the multiverse.
Metaverse?
What are they calling it now? Metaverse. Yes.
Yeah, Metaverse.
PlayStation Home.
The much dumber.
Remember PlayStation Home?
Oh, PlayStation Home, man. Oof, that takes me back.
That existed.
You know, like avatar customization, the long history of things like, you know, adventure plates. It's not like we do those anymore, right?
No, we don't do those anymore. Y'all remember Go Gaia?
No. Like,
Gaia,
not
you mean
at all. That's not even
Gaia
a
Online?
joke. I don't.
Oh
my
my
Gaia
gosh.
Online?
Yes, Gaia. Oh, you're so young that you call it Gaia Online.
Oh,
It was
okay.
originally Go Gaia.
I will take any youthful compliment I will take. So yes, I have no clue.
You're so young. You know it by like that. Which I think Gaia Online is even outdated now. I think it's something like Gaia Chatbox, or I don't even know. I
don't know if it exists anymore. I haven't seen those little chibi avatars, Lord, in forever.
But I really liked chat rooms that had chibi avatars. That was the bomb.
Gaia Online still exists.
What?
Like it's got a website. I'm looking right at it.
And then someone had
Avatar,
to
dress
NFTs.
up and check your inventory. Avatar builder, aquarium, create the perfect fish tank, customize your car, your ride to rally for car. You can decorate your house.
Does anybody still use
Shoot, it's got personas. Damn, does Atlas know? I think I'm losing the plot here. I think we need to take what Awesomes Out of Awesomes. What's our final takes on Ya Boy Kongming?
I don't know. I felt like it was like a 7 out of 10. Like, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Whoa. You can't just actually give like actual numbers out of numbers.
You can't give an actual numeric value that suggests an actual level of value.
No, screw that. No, you say things like, I'm going to give him one baller-ass tracksuit that we didn't talk enough about how his good-ass tracksuit looked with him, even though he still had his like hair, his hat, and his fan that were slightly different colors than the colors of his blue tracksuit. Out of awesome.
Or one rival rapper named after the coolest horse in history. Out of awesome.
3 girls in a Japanese pop group out of awesome.
3 inappropriately revealing outfits out of awesome.
Okay, yes. There we go. I mean, I mean, it was good. It was good. It was good. If you're sitting around saying, "Man, there weren't any good anime this season," you're wrong. This one was good, but in 10 years, I don't think I'm going to be talking about it.
Unless in 2 years they have a season 2.
Yeah, I think in the long term, it's going to depend on what they do with season 2 and onward. Because the main gripe I've got with this show is that Kongming solves all the problems a little too neatly.
Yeah,
he's got a little too god moding going on, which makes Eiko's journey feel a little unearned. Like, she's struggling, of course, but we know that Kongming's got her back and he's got a plan. And if that involves dressing up in some sort of mascot on the rooftop bar for God knows how many nights waiting for her to get there, he'll do it. And it just feels a little too easy, But for me, I love the show. I really like found family stories. I really like those type of stories even more when they are about supporting other people, even aggressively, and sort of shaking them into realizing that they're good people and talented people. So this hit all my buttons in that. And it really wasn't even so much about like the rap battle we mentioned earlier as it was him really pushing Kabe Taijin to get better. And another thing that struck me about this is I just recently watched Belle, the Hosoda movie, which is now on HBO Max. If you haven't seen it yet, you should check that out. But comparing this to Belle, I think I really like Ya Boy Kongming more. I feel like the way they intertwine the music in this story is a lot more earned. I feel like Eiko's journey from being a little no-name singer to something more feels a little more earned than the one in Belle, which is kind of surprising considering that's a big movie and that was the centerpiece of that movie as a whole.
So I do wonder if that's also just a case of movie versus TV show, where the TV show can really spend its time telling the story with way more runtime, and this show is actually really well overall pretty paced. Like, it's never too fast, never too slow. It just hits just right. Yeah,
I don't want to go too deep into the Belle hole because it's a whole other episode we could cover. But it just struck me because I watched this show and then I watched that movie recently, and they're similar in ways, but I feel like Kongming was a more satisfying watch for me. Sure, it doesn't have like that much budget compared to movie cinema stuff. Yeah, there's some pacing problems, like Bill mentioned with the big villain at the end. Sure. But again, I really like the central narrative of helping your found family, and that will stick with me for a while.
So that's right. According to Tobias, throw Belle into the trash can. Only watch Ya Boy Kongming out of awesome.
Yes. So my rating for this is going to be 100,000 arrows out of awesome.
Nice.
All right, folks. This has been a production of the OSMcast. It is edited by Anna. The theme's done by DJ Inabita. You can find his stuff at DJ Inabita. Hey, DJ. Yeah. The DJ. Yeah. Oh, wait, sorry, going back to the ending theme. Find it at djinabita.com. Our website is awesomecast.com. And you can find Tobias's group over at thirdimpactanime.com.
Okay.
Our Patreon is also, /awesomecast. You can also go to our website to find link to the Patreon, also to our Discord. Please do leave us Apple Podcast reviews with the texts. That helps out visibility so much, especially if you throw some text in there. You can let us know what master strategies works out in your life. You can also leave us 5-star reviews on Spotify. You do not require to post any text there, so that makes it even easier. You just have to also use Spotify. Twitters. My Twitter is at It's Basil Time. The OSMcast is at AwesomeCast. Kevin, where's your Twitter at?
At Twitless_Kevin.
And first off, thank you, Tobias, for coming on. It's been wonderful having you. Where can they find you online?
I am also on Twitter at HighDiveOfficial. You can any reviews you have on the show, any other questions about streaming or licensing, you can ask me at HighDiveOfficial on Twitter. Personal questions you can redirect to at Reverend_Tobias.
It's been really great having you here, Tobias High Dive.
Anytime.
Also, my Twitch. We don't have a Twitch for OSMcast because, as far as I know, the only OSMcast person besides myself who is streaming ever is John, but he's currently taking a hiatus, so we'll just put mine at its Basil time. Go check it out. I've been playing all the old Final Fantasies, but as the newer pixel remaster versions. I'm currently playing 3, but I think by the time this comes out, I might have already beaten 3, and maybe have moved on to Final Fantasy 4. So it'll be the first Final Fantasy that I have beaten to death and back, because it was in the United States originally as Final Fantasy 2, and that was my first real RPG I really got into. So again, thank you, Kevin, Doug, and Tobias for joining me on these wonderful conversations, and we're out.
Music 探したくてます地球